Hey, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Amanda.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Kathleen.
And this is the federal election edition of Beyond a Ballot, powered by DoorDash.
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Hannah Thibodeau. Welcome to the weekend, everyone. It is E-17 until Canadians head to the polls. So the countdown really does feel like it's on. I feel it that way anyway. Now, I did promise yesterday that I would try at least to make it through one episode without mentioning a certain someone whose initials may be DT. So we will see how that goes. I'm not sure I can guarantee it because here's the thing. Amanda, you're up first. Liberal leader Mark Carney took his third break from the campaign trail to meet with the Canada-US Cabinet Committee. And you better believe they brought up you-know-who at the table. So Amanda Alvaro, the Prime Minister says tariffs are already having an impact on the Canadian economy.
We know that this is Rachel's favorite topic when Prime Minister Mark Carney has to be Prime Minister Mark Carney.
Is he milking it?
I mean, listen, I think that we are in a trade war, people. So he did,
yes, and
he did indeed meet with the Canada-US Committee in Ottawa today. He talked about the fact that the global economy is starting to slow, and then he's directed officials to prepare for negotiations with, and I'm sorry, I'm going to break the rule right now, with Trump next month.
That didn't last long.
I'm sorry, that lasted a good minute or so.
I think that's it.
So he says, listen, we are preparing in-house. We're getting officials prepared for those negotiations to happen. And those negotiations could happen as early as May. He said that aside from China's decision to slap counter tariffs on US goods, there's been a really marked tightening in the financial conditions. And that is what is proving to show these signs of slowing in the global economy. And that we are going to see that, of course, in the Canadian economy, particularly around the labor market. Listen, I don't think that this is not Mark Carney putting his legs up and having, a weekend break with his fam jam, people. This is him doing serious business on behalf of Canadians in the face of a global trade war.
Okay, let's go to Rachel then. Rachel Siegel, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, she's laughing already, was in St. Catharines, Ontario, and he sort of re-announced a lot of his economic measures, calling it Canada's Economic Action Plan.
Yes.
That sounds very familiar for one thing.
I know. I think I said it 650,000 times in 2008.
Was it only 650,000?
Yeah. Canada's Economic Action Plan. We're getting it done.
Getting it done. But so I want you to talk about that. But also he did face some heat from his own team about slumping poll numbers. Kathleen Monk knows who I'm talking about here. It's her TV husband.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think the word he used was campaign malpractice.
He did.
Did he? Oh, I didn't even hear that. But never mind that guy. Let's talk about
economic action plan.
Let's talk about that economic action plan. And I was laughing because someone should tell Mark Carney that when you meet with the premiers on Zoom, you can actually Zoom from anywhere. You don't have to sit in your own office in Ottawa. Campaign buses. We've had people Zoom into our podcast from campaign buses. So just want to throw that out in case Carney's listening. But Pierre,
I used to do TV from the buses too, Rachel.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's amazing what technology can do these days. Pierre was talking today in Ontario about the Canada First Economic Action Plan, and like we joked about, this was the big tagline of the Harper government in 2008. And what we really were talking about back then was economic development, investment in infrastructure. And today Pierre came out and kind of showed his holistic plan for the economy. A lot of that having to do with that infrastructure, resources, those types of announcements that he's talked about. He also talked about cutting taxes, building homes, which is one of the major topics of this campaign. And then, of course, the pipelines and resource projects, which he's pushing Mark Carney on as well. So, yeah, it was an economic day, and I don't even have to say the word that we're not allowed to say because Pierre really is talking about the economy in terms of the last 10 years, the lost Liberal decade, and in reference to a fourth Liberal term being an absolute disaster for Canadians and for the Canadian economy.
So Kathleen Monk over to NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, and he was not pitching to be prime minister. He has switched his messaging. This isn't the first time. He reiterated you need to elect an NDP to hold a government to account. And he said that's the message he wants to get out in the debates next week. Don't talk about the debates because that's tomorrow's episode. But what do you think of that?
Yeah, so I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but campaigns as we move through. I mean, today I'll speak in beyond the ballot language, which is today is day 20 of the election campaign, or in Politico speak, and the kind of language I speak when I'm in the war room, it's E-17. So that means there's only like 17 more days until election day. And it's at this point in the campaign that the war rooms start thinking about how you want to change up your messaging in the final days of the campaign. It's called like, what's your end game? So you may have, I think it was Rachel yesterday who cleverly used a hockey analogy, so you might be down and out on periods 1 and 2, but how do you rethink about how you're going to approach that last period and really go for it all and put your best players on the team and your best message out there? I'm really bad when it comes to sports analogies, so I really hope that one landed.
Don't even worry. We're famous for being bad.
You were good with the Zorro one yesterday, so
yeah, the Zorro was good. I'm good on that one. But anyhow, so Jagmeet is out there really saying to people like, hey, NDP values are Canadian values. The things that we're right now in this trade war with the United States, economic warfare, a question of our own sovereignty. And when you look at the differentiation between the US and Canada, the reasons why people love Canada is because of what the NDP has brought to it. Canadian pension plan, healthcare system, things like family support payments. So right now they're called the CCB, but they've had other names in the past. These are things that NDP politicos have fought for over the years. So basically saying that the other thing that we value about Canada is that we're a pluralistic, a multi-party system. And in the States, it's a two-party system. It's very polarized. And actually, Canadians appreciate the fact that with the NDP there has to be that kind of cooperation. So Jagmeet Singh today was making that pitch. He was at a conference here in Ottawa. It's called the Progress Summit. It's held by a think tank, an organization that I helped to found in actually 2011 after Jack Layton died. It's called the Broadbent Institute. And
good job, Kath.
Yeah. So he made a speech to a large crowd there. He was well received. Obviously, it's a very progressive crowd, built-in kind of applause, but still, he made the case for the minority and how NDP can make the difference.
Campaign call out. And Rachel, I'm going to go with you first.
Okay, I'm going to be super
she's
nice.
Sighing already
because I want to just be nice and end the week on a high note. And I want to give my shout out to the 5 leaders who are all going to spend the weekend stressing and being yelled at by their staff and getting put on stages and made fun of by staff just to make them prepared for what's to come next week during the debates, because I know this will be a tough weekend for those leaders. And debates are stress inducing, no matter how prepped you are, no matter how great of a debater you are. They're tough. And so I'm thinking about those guys and the staff that are going to be corralling them.
And they're putting themselves out there. So kudos to them. Kathleen, you're next.
Campaign call out. I'm also going to be super positive and say a call out to all the families and spouses. I actually did an interview just yesterday with the Globe and Mail about political spouses.
Nice.
So we were talking about both, Polyev and Carney and Singh's wives, but it's not always wives that play a big role in campaigns. It's also family members. Jack Layton's granddaughter, Beatrice, played a role, as did his sister in the 2011 campaign. But we've also seen children like Ben Harper played a big role in his father's campaign in 2015. So we've seen lots of examples of that over the years, and kind of broke down how the families could play a role in campaigns. And I think it's a significant one. And so shout out to the families who are hustling on the stumps, sometimes featured in the ads, and often on the doorstep.
Big support system for all of those out there campaigning. Amanda Alvaro, campaign call out, you're last.
Okay, well, I'm not as positive, so we're just going to go
Oh,
with things that make Amanda grumpy, of which there are
we're going to
several,
laugh though.
and I'm just going to call out two. The first one is this desire by the Conservative Party to add a red banner to a bunch of their ads that say, after 10 years of the Carney Trudeau Liberals. And it's so ick because it's like, obviously, Carney wasn't there for 10 years. But anyway, that's
We
one.
can debate
Number
that.
It's
two,
making her, that makes Amanda
making me
mad.
grumpy. Other
Grumpy.
things that make me grumpy, and this one is like really an appeal more than anything. It's like I was watching Adam Van Couverton today. Adam is an MP in Burlington,
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
so
Milton,
good.
Northwood Milton. I don't know. It has a new name.
Hmm.
And he made this video, which was insane. And it showed a black van going down the street. And who hops out of the black van but a child who runs
Oh,
then
yeah.
to pick up liberal signs and take them off the lawns or deface them. So many issues with this. I mean, you just talked about families, Kathleen, and I'd love to do a whole episode on families and the importance of families. For whomever is using their children to deface signs or take down liberal signs
Hmm.
is so atrocious, so egregious, so awful. So at the top of the things that make me grumpy, it's
Oh,
that. If you see
I'm with
someone
you on that.
defacing a
100%.
sign, kicking a sign down, like just don't do it. The whole
That's
our
not
whole this
democracy.
is democracy, exactly. And
Yeah.
let's just let people vote for who they want to vote for. Please don't use your children as weird little pawns in your
You know,
angry game.
I saw you post that earlier and I shared it. I'm in this hilarious political pundit women chat group. We're all different partisan stripes and we all
Yes.
chat and it's hilarious. It is
Kind of
the
like
best.
what we're doing here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it is like the podcast, but like on Signal.
And
Yeah,
you can say other stuff.
and
Yeah.
it is hilarious. And I shared that after you posted that, Amanda, and everyone was like just flabbergasted. To use your children to do negative things in politics, it's so bad. It's so low. Like it is so low. I mean, I'm astounded at that. Like,
How
he
about
thinks
just
signs is bad, but like, I mean, it's always bad, whatever, on whoever team does it. But the idea is to drive your child around and then get your child to steal signs.
In a
Like,
black
what
Gross.
are we
van.
teaching our
Ugh.
children, people? Like,
I
oh
can't
my,
imagine my parents ever doing that. I remember they used to go and cast their ballot, and my brother and I would be sitting in the back of the car, and they'd come out, and I'd say, "Who did you vote for?" They're like, "It's a secret ballot, and when you get to vote, you'll have a secret ballot as well. But this is what voting is." How about taking your kids and teaching them about the electoral system?
Yeah.
Yes. How about
Yeah.
that?
Let's do that. Okay. Unfortunately, we do have to end it here because we could go on and on. It's almost showtime. No, not this show. Next week brings back-to-back debates. Wednesday, French. Thursday, it's English. How exactly do the leaders prepare for these political pressure cookers? What's the strategy behind the carefully crafted sound bites? And will any of it actually move the polls? We will be back with our panel, and you better believe we will have some spirited debate right here. Who's got the momentum? We're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. Come back tomorrow.
Thank you for listening. New episodes come out daily, and you can find Beyond a Ballot on Instagram and wherever you find your podcasts. A huge thank you to our title sponsor, DoorDash, and sponsors Equal Voice, Page, and Canada Powered by Women for making this election special possible. Speak to you tomorrow.